Hey guys. I'm back with another BL review. Today, I'll be reviewing the BL series called Step by Step. Before we dive into the video, here's a quick disclaimer. All the opinions expressed in this video are my own, and I want to make it clear that I'm not trying to spread any hate towards the show or actors. I'm simply sharing my honest thoughts about what I liked and disliked, as everyone is entitled to their own opinion. If you happen to disagree, feel free to leave a comment down below. This video contains spoilers, so if you haven't seen the show yet or plan to watch it, I recommend clicking off the video. Jeng, a digital marketing manager, had earned a reputation as a tough and uncompromising leader. His subordinates in the company despised him, feeling that he was excessively demanding and unapproachable. He was also the son of the company's owner. Pat, on the other hand, is an enthusiastic new member of the team who had previously studied abroad in LA. Over time, Jeng began to develop a secret fondness for Pat. However, Jeng felt trapped in his position, knowing that he had to maintain a strict facade to uphold his reputation as a manager. As Jeng's strictness increased, it started to take a toll on Pat. The constant pressure and criticism made Pat feel undervalued and demotivated. Ultimately, Pat reached a breaking point and made the difficult decision to submit his resignation. Recognizing that his actions had contributed to a talented individual leaving the company, Jeng was filled with remorse and a renewed determination to make a change. As Jeng began implementing reforms, he and Pat found themselves growing closer. However, problems arise with their budding relationship, causing rumors to fly within the workplace. Step by Step was initially one of my most anticipated BL shows for 2023. It had a promising start and held so much potential, but unfortunately, it gradually declined in quality as the episodes aired. So, I unfortunately have to rate this show a whopping 5 out of 10. Now, let's delve into some aspects of the show that I personally found disappointing, and trust me, there are quite a few. Number 1. Slow burn and timeline. While I do appreciate a good slow burn, Step by Step failed to execute it effectively. The main couple had very limited screen time together, and when they did it didn't go beyond subtle glances. Pat hadn't even acknowledged his crush on Jeng, besides the first few episodes. The show seemed more focused on the company's affairs rather than exploring the relationships of the show, and because of that I couldn't see the development of Jeng and Pat's relationship. The timeline was all over the place and confusing. For example, in one episode, we discover A's pregnancy, and 4 episodes later, she's giving birth on a bus without any clear indication of the time that passed. This inconsistency makes it difficult for the audience to understand how much time has elapsed. Another example was Jeng crying over Pat to job. Considering A's pregnancy, it's safe to assume that about 9 months had passed. However, as I watched this scene, I couldn't help but wonder how their relationship had even evolved to this emotional point. In the final 4 episodes, there were 3 seemingly unnecessary time skips that didn't contribute much to the show's purpose. Number 2. Writing. The writing for this show was somewhat confusing rather than outright bad. I'm not sure if the subtitles played a part with the issues I had or the writing. For instance, in one episode, Pat takes the day off with Jeng's approval, but later, Jeng seems unaware of it. There's also a scene where Pat tells Jeng's mother he'll be 26 in October, but he had already celebrated his birthday with Jeng in the scene right before. The writers could have simply stated his birthday had just passed. Speaking of Jeng's mother, her 5-second appearance also left me confused as it served no apparent purpose to the show. Additionally, the drama between Kanoon, A, and Beam felt forced, as if the writers were trying to insert an unnecessary plotline into the show to take up time. My biggest gripe with this show was how the characters were handled. They appeared and vanished at the writer's convenience. For example, the secretary seemingly came out of nowhere. I don't recall seeing him in previous episodes. He came in and created conflict between Jeng and Pat, and he vanished as quickly as he emerged. Number 3. The acting. The acting in the show fell somewhere between mediocre and bad. Man, Bruce and Up delivered okay performances in their roles, but it was evident that some of the other cast members were inexperienced in acting. Particularly Ben and Saint. Now, I don't really like to talk about the actors' acting because I know they're doing the best they can. However, in this case, some of the acting was just outright bad. It came across as cringy and forced, and half the time I wanted to fast forward through those scenes because it gave me secondhand embarrassment. Ben single-handedly made me want to turn the show off every time he came on screen. But, they are newbies, and I think with time and acting classes they will get better. Hopefully. Number 4. Job and Jane. At first, the dynamic between Job and Jane intrigued me, especially with Job's crush on Jane while Jane was in a relationship. Few BLs handled cheating well, so I was curious about the direction. However, my instincts were right, the storyline went absolutely nowhere. Despite their shared kiss in the hotel room and Jane breaking up with his boyfriend, their relationship stagnated. Job basically ghosted Jane after, he even got a random boyfriend, only to break up with him due to his lingering feelings for Jane. Jane's departure from the company and going off to Japan further complicated their storyline, as he wasn't seen again on screen in the last 2 episodes. The disappointing ending these two had, which I talk about more later in the video, was a big waste of the 2 actors' chemistry. By the way, I'm still unsure if his name is Jen or Jane. Number 5. Pat. I really hate when I dislike the main character because as the viewer, I feel like I'm supposed to root for them, but I had a really hard time trying to connect to Pat's character, and I low-key was preying on his downfall every episode. It seemed like all he did was cry, whine, or be drunk. Pat came across as immature and selfish. Instead of communicating, he constantly ran away from his problems. I understand he's young and learning, but even after the multiple time skips in the show, his character still showed little growth. If this show was real, I would be side-eyeing Mr. Jeng so hard, because what did he see in him? Number 6. Jeng's father. Jeng's father was meant to be the antagonist of the show, but all he did was give everyone scowling looks and sinister smirks. To be honest, I don't even remember what his beef was with Mr. Jeng. But what I do know is his character felt unnecessary and didn't add value to the storyline. Number 7. Episode 12. This episode was 1 hour and 42 minutes of nothing happening, no character development, no relationship development, nothing. Oh, Pat and Jeng got back together after their unnecessary breakup in episode 11, thanks to the episode 11 curse. I can see why Pat was upset with Mr. Jeng, feeling that his success in the company was attributed to favoritism rather than his own talents. However, to break up because of it and not talk it out as adults was preposterous. An unnecessary 2-year time skip later, we see Pat at his own company, and when he and Jeng cross paths again, the lack of discussion about their breakup made it unclear why they even broke up in the first place. If nothing was going to be acknowledged or resolved in their relationship, they could have stayed together 2 years ago. The writers missed an opportunity for proper closure and character development in this aspect of the story. Jeng's father's shady behavior after Mr. Jeng quit was left unexplained, and wasn't addressed any further, leaving viewers with unanswered questions about his motives. Also, the writers paid Job and Jane dust. Their relationship was left without a proper conclusion. We only see Job going to see Jane after his 2-year stay in Japan. It was left unclear if Jane had returned or Job was going to see him in Japan. This lack of closure was disappointing. Perhaps the writers left these plot points open for a potential second season or spin-off, and if that's the case, I hope they take the opportunity to fix the issues with the first season. Now, we can move on to what I actually liked about the show. Number 1. Jeng and Pat. Despite their underdeveloped relationship and poor communication, I found enjoyment in their interactions, especially in episodes 10 and 12. Their chemistry was decent, and I wish it had been given more depth. Hopefully, in the future, we'll have the chance to see these two characters again with improved writing, or Man and Ben with another storyline. Number 2. Friend Group. I truly enjoyed the dynamics within the friend group. Their silliness and humor made them fun to watch. A loved Pat like a little brother and treated him as such. While A and Cannon's relationship was tumultuous, it had its comedic moments. Ying's character surprised me, transitioning from messy to becoming one of Pat's biggest supporters, alongside Nan. Cho's character was a true gem, and I wish we had gotten more of him and his boyfriend. Overall, Step by Step struggled with its slow burn approach, lack of relationship development, and a disoriented timeline, which left the overall storytelling feeling disjointed and confusing. This BL had the potential to be one of the top BLs that premiered in 2023, but it fell short with the weak writing and subpar acting. The combination of these factors severely brought down the overall quality of the series. While I understand that this series might be enjoyable to others, it just didn't resonate with me personally. But remember guys, this is only my opinion, so I always encourage everyone to watch and judge for themselves. If you've made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching, and if you agree or disagree with anything I said, feel free to leave a comment, and if you liked this video, please leave a like and subscribe for more reviews.